series of teaching STEM in Southeast Asia. Today's session, we look at applying STEM pedagogies. And importantly, it is my great pleasure to introduce our moderator for this series, an esteemed scholar, Dr. Frederick Talun. He's an associate professor at the Department of Science Education in the De La Salle University in the Philippines. He's also a consultant for the Center for Integrated STEM Education Incorporated. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'll hand the floor over to Dr. Frederick, who will moderate today and our upcoming two sessions. Dr. Frederick, please.
Thank you very much, Vignesh. And I am honored to have been invited by the Head Foundation to moderate this session. The sessions in the Making Headway webinar series on teaching STEM in Southeast Asia. Good afternoon to everyone, and a very warm welcome to you. We're glad that you have joined us today for our very first session of the series. Allow me to talk briefly about the series. Our conversations will focus on STEM, or science, technology, engineering, and mathematics education. This is not a new concept. In fact, it is still in its infancy in many Southeast Asian classrooms. Many questions about STEM education come up in our conversations with teachers, practitioners in the field, and we hope to address some of these many questions in our limited time together. STEM education can play a key role in developing future-ready students to thrive in a fast-changing world. STEM education goes beyond content knowledge and aims to develop the necessary skills and identities for learners to thrive in rapidly changing communities, workplaces, and the global economy. Our aim for this three-part webinar series is to share ideas on how we educators can start small and introduce bite-sized STEM teaching practices in our classroom. We will also share ideas on how schools can establish and leverage networks with the community and industry to strengthen STEM education practices. We will focus on relevant, actionable strategies and tips for educators to adapt to their own context. And we hope that these conversations would trigger reflections on what might work in your particular classrooms and schools. So we could kick off the series today with session 1 on applying STEM pedagogies. For this first session, we have 3 speakers who will share some lesson and assessment ideas. They will share their stories about teaching innovations that integrate across STEM disciplines. We are joined today by 2 speakers from the Philippines, Dr. Ariel Babiera and Mr. Leo Crisologo. We also have with us Mr. David Chuck from Malaysia. At the outset, we would like to thank our speakers for their generosity of time and effort for their presentations. We will hear more about them and from them later. I hope you have also registered for our session 2 on March 17, next Thursday, on developing and supporting STEM teachers. Our speakers will share their thoughts on the question, how can we improve enactment of STEM pedagogies? The last session for the series, session 3, will be on creating a STEM ecosystem. This is an important discussion because we will be talking about the social support that might be required to develop and nurture critical thinkers, problem solvers, and innovators. So we ask the question, how can we support the students to learn and practice STEM? So this is the scope of our webinar series. We will move from the microsystems of pedagogies, teaching and learning, and then to mesosystems of teacher support, and then macrosystems to educational networks to support STEM education. All right, we have a bit of an activity to engage everyone. We have created a poll on just one question. And so you have this poll discussion on your screen right now, we encourage you to answer this question. Which question is most challenging to you in designing STEM learning experiences? So the first option is who are my learners? And second, what material resources do I access for teaching? Third, what is my role in teaching STEM? And lastly, how do I integrate core ideas from various disciplines? Okay, this might be a difficult question to answer, but we would appreciate your participation and your honesty in answering this question. We will go back to your answers to this question when we um, go to the Q&A after our panelists present their ideas and stories. Okay, so um, do we have people answering, taking this call already? I hope you are. Um, eh, all right. So just a reminder, as you answer this question, we will also have our Q&A, as I mentioned. This Q&A, for this Q&A, we will entertain the questions that we will write in our Q&A box. So I see that some have already put in their questions, and I encourage you to write your questions for this Q&A.